Avenger comic book, Mike.
Yeah.
Does
Cool.
it say they're going to be doing a TV show?
Yeah, this Baruchel dude, the guy from all those Seth Green comedies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's investing in the publisher, and it looks like he's trying to develop it into either a TV show or a movie.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So, Mike, what is it? You got anything you're looking for today, or what?
Whatever's in front of me, man.
Cool. Jose, anything?
I might actually look for some classic X-Men. They don't have that many.
We're not screwing up our directions so far. We've successfully made our left onto Weston and are about to make a right onto Wilson, so hopefully we won't make a wrong turn this time. Okay, so I think this is the first time we've ever actually gotten parking in the regular parking lot here.
It's got something to do with it being here exactly at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. It's the earliest we've ever shown up.
Right, and Peter.
If I get this page, you'll see on Facebook. You'll see how we processing it.
25 for Sandman #1.
Yeah, Dave McKean
Yeah,
art.
really
It's very nice. I mean, it's very attractive.
What else you got in there?
I like that.
First Boba Fett.
Yeah, you got that?
Yeah.
You do? Cool.
But I tell you, mine's not. I'd really like to get a better grade.
I picked this up for around $20
Yeah.
from Sandy.
Cool.
Yeah. First Namorita, as we've said, yeah. Oh, Batman Superman ones.
See anything good?
All kinds of stuff. Wow.
Nice. First Silver Age Black Canary?
Yep. And I love the fact that you don't really see her in the sense you just see her legs, but she's got the trademark Buccaneer boots and fishnet, so you know it's her, right?
For sure.
Oh man, that's a nice book to have.
Nice. Maybe he's not having a smoke.
Is it?
I don't know. Yeah, another Toronto comic book show. Mike, how many do you think we've been to so far? I mean, I've lost track.
Gee, I think we're about at 4 or 5 now.
It's a good half dozen. Yeah.
Yeah.
A honey hole, baby. It's a honey hole.
A lot of great vendors there, that's for sure. So I hope you like that. That's some of the footage we shot from last week's Toronto comic book show. Now, we're not going to show you any of the books from the comic show tonight because Jose and Mike are still going through their batch, trying to figure out what they're going to show in the first episode anyways, because we picked up quite a few really good books this weekend, didn't we?
Some nice haulage.
Yeah. But we got some really fantastic books we're going to show you tonight, and we're going to start off with, I guess, our new book sequence. Is that correct?
Yes, new book segment. I think most of us have these books. Mike has a Venom. Both you and me have these 2 books too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about these books. So let's talk in generally first, Marvel's variant themes. Personally, I think they're starting to get a little stale and boring. So far, we've gotten 2 spoonfuls of Venomized variants, of which Venom 151 here, both Paul and I popped on at Retro Rare. Mike, you have this book too, I believe.
Yeah, I picked it up, yeah.
Yeah, there's been a few of Deadpool, and now in June of this month, MJ variants. Mary Jane Watson are dropping this month. Now, this is Marvel's business model right now, it seems. Get as many crazy sounding variants as possible, which will force the retailers to up or maintain their orders to keep up, while at the same time being the cheapest way possible to see if any new characters might interest an increasingly bored audience. Yeah, that said, if you forget about all the background noise for a second, The Mary Jane variants are a very handsome set with some pearls amongst the dross.
Yeah.
Both Paul and I popped on the Gwenpool issue 7T variant here, and if you're so inclined, I would recommend the following titles: Black Bolt number 2, Avengers 8, Iron Fist 4, Punisher 13, Secret Warriors 3, and X-Men Blue number 5 issues. On the other side of the aisle, DC has turned things around for a few of their titles with their Rebirth, but they're still preying on those titles boosts with variants for a majority of their line. With a, you might not like the book, but look at this other cover option. Isn't she pretty?
Yeah,
And now we see the return of those wonder gimmick covers on top of the normal covers. Like the publishers are saying, hey, we remember the 90s too. What a dark time that was. And yeah, we may all be caught up in it, but just as we are now. In my opinion, nothing good can come from this. Comic shops are closing their doors due to sitting on stacks of comic books that didn't sell enough to cover the costs, while the incentive sits in the back wall collecting dust or is shuffled off to the back room because they can't afford to let it go for a moving price because they need to recoup their losses.
Are you talking about right now?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I actually wasn't aware that the comic. I mean, my
It's
understanding
still
is the
tough.
comic book industry is doing really well at the moment.
Not for modern books. The internet helps some of these places reach their target audience and move their copies. But let's be realistic. There aren't as many of us as we would like to believe, and tons of books go unsold every month.
That's true.
The fact that having variant covers setting the trend as to what is important or hot for comics is, in my humble opinion, an unhealthy take on comics. Gone are the important stories and the introduction of meaningful characters to the different titles or the monthly line, of which is a crying shame. Oh well, c'est la vie. Covers, our variants are good, but like I said, I consider myself a vintage book collector because that's where my passion lies.
That's what I do too.
And only that, but I just want to quickly mention, talking to my vendor, they've got a 3-month window for returning books too now. Which
Okay,
is new.
let's try to stay on topic here. So we're talking about these books here, okay?
Yeah, the
now
modern ones,
I'll
yeah.
tell you why I bought them. First of all, Sandy put together put aside the Venom for us because he knew we would like the cover, and we did. It was a no-brainer. We were going to buy it. And the Gwenpool number 17, I haven't read the story. I don't own any Gwenpool covers. I bought it strictly for cover appeal and cover appeal alone. That's the only reason I bought it, and I think that's the way why you bought
That's
it
the way
too.
it works for me too.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover. One of the best covers I've seen in a very long time. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. Anybody got anything else to add?
No, that's about it.
Okay, that is our new book sequence.
Segment.
Let's move on. Okay, so next up we got Eagle-Eyed Oog, who's scored himself a really, really nice copy of Daredevil number 98. And this is a really nice looking book, Mike. Wow, where'd you pick this one up from?
Again, Toronto Comic Book Show.
Mm-hmm.
This would be from Hagenland. Those are big boys. They're usually at the Fan Expo, but they do the small show too, and it's
Yeah.
great. Now, this was from when I saw all these Black Widow covers. They had them all laid out in front of me, and it's like, okay, I got a little budget left to spend, so absolutely. So, you know,
Now I noticed
it
the
up.
book is in really nice condition. There's a couple.
I get a fine, very fine, maybe a 7.0. And you know, I'm always about a half grade off. I try to grade myself type because I like to just not have an argument. If I ever have to sell this, there would be no argument there. You could sit there at 7.5 and go, well, there's this, there's that. No, I don't do that.
Well, there's some spine ticks, but other than that, it's a really nice.
Few. There's the outlay is kind of dark, but you know, it's just an action cover. She looks great. Black Widow looks great on it. You know, this is April '73. I only paid $15 US for that.
Good price.
Worth about 22. You know, not a huge bump up. Cover is someone I haven't heard of very often, and George Tuska.
Come on, we talked about George Tuska. He's a legend, man. We shot that.
That's right.
The
Sorry about
Steranko
that.
cover, Adventures of
that's right,
Spy-Man.
That's right. Sorry, I'm getting old here. Sorry.
How's your Daredevil collection, Jose?
Yeah, it's meager and scant. It's not in my focus right
I've
now.
got a
It's not
nice
my
run
wheelhouse.
I've
This
got a
is
nice
not to
run.
say it won't be in the future, but
No, it won't. I do
Well, you
love
have
the
a
Black
few,
Widow. I have a few,
You have
but
a nice window pane one. And
yeah, I have a few, but yeah, it's just it's not in my radar right now. But yeah, I'm on the active lookout for these kind of books. Remember, these are from my wheelhouse in the sense I love the 20-cent window pane covers. That's my favorite house style for Marvel, and yeah, I really love these kind of books.
I mean, I got the big books, but I mean, as far as the older ones, I think this is actually my oldest one.
Yeah.
I just, pick them up when you see them. That's
And
it.
for the price you paid, you can't go wrong.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, beautiful
Fan-
cover.
Fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in. Okay, next we got Jose up, and he's going to give us a bit of a beat down here. We're going to start with a new book, and then we're going to follow it up by going into a vintage book. And if I'm not mistaken, these two books are somewhat related. Is that correct?
Only in the fact that the thread here connecting these books that we're talking about Legion of Superheroes. And where did Legion of Superheroes begin? They began at Adventure Comics.
Adventure Comics, yeah.
Back in the Silver Age. But they usually get you with variant covers, and they're trying to get something to pull you in. And from our childhood, what's better than Bugs Bunny? What's up, Doc? I mean,
Jose, you're not trying to say a multinational corporation like DC is trying to suck the money out of your wallet, are
Time
they?
Warner, they're a big vacuum cleaner. So is Disney, man. They own Marvel and DC respectively. So
They're a big vacuum cleaner. They vacuum clean my wallet all the time.
Oh.
anything they can
all
do
the
to get that money from your wallet, they'll do. And it's a nice cover. So I mean, what appeals to childhood. I mean, they can never go wrong. I mean, you have that hot spot for Bugs Bunny.
For sure.
And you got the Legion of Superheroes, which was one of my favorite teams. So there we go. Enough said for that. It's a great cover. I like it. I mean, it's going to go in my stash.
And some of them are riffs of original older covers, Silver Age covers. As
Oh,
well,
yeah.
right?
With the next segment, yeah, you'll see that.
Let's see that.
And
Yeah.
this is obviously Super Legion of Superheroes #1.
Yeah.
What's it, volume number 68 or what?
Something along those lines. I haven't looked. I mean, I'm not knowledgeable when it comes to the modern stuff, but it's a very
Yeah.
appealing cover there with most of the Legion there.
Oh, it is. It's nice.
Yeah, so it's a great cover. So, but let's get to the meat and potatoes of
Mike,
this one.
you want to show us the meat and potatoes there?
Show you some meat and taters.
So
right there,
behind
baby.
screen number
Yeah.
1, there we go. Adventure Comics number 340 from January of '66. With the issue which Triplicate Girl becomes Dual Damsel, and this issue also has the first appearance of Computer.
Cool.
Computo, yeah. This issue right here, when a Triplicate Girl's duplicate dies, and thus afterwards she is known as Dual Damsel. It seems that Brainiac 5 created Computer to be an assistant of sorts, but it turns bad and tries to start an uprising of machines. I guess Tony Stark should relate to this story after his experience with Ultron. Yep, this evil machine is the cause of the death of one of Triplicate Girl's bodies. As you can see, they're right on the cover. Well, at least she gets to change her name to something other than one that ends with girl. Finally, this issue is the first one to reference the United Planets. Comic book world pricing for this at 9.4, 9, and 8.0 are 115, 109.25, and 97.75. It's a nice higher grade copy. I would say my grades copy is a VF Plus, which for a Silver Age book of that vintage is not a bad score, 8.5.
Jose, I was looking at this earlier, and yes, it is a very nice copy. In fact,
Pretty.
to me, it looks like it just came off the comic book rack.
And the last thing to mention is great cover by who else? Kurt Swan.
Kurt Swan. Now, you said
Sweet.
the United Planets and not the United Federation of
No,
Planets.
the United Planets.
Okay, that's a fantastic book, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
No problem.
But I got it. Some people haven't even gotten it. That guy.
I bought 2 of Dracula 10. There's 6 of them. I bought them that day. Only 6 of them. And I don't even, you know what? I don't even know if it's white pages. I just saw it was a naive bought it.
I think I have
It was weird.
80 on it right now. I'm going with 80.
And next up, we got Eagle Eye Oog with a really nice copy of Teen Titans number 15. Wow, Mike, nice book.
Oh yeah. What can I say? I mean, I had so much fun reading the number 3 that I acquired at the comic book show. I mean, I do have another honey hole. It's called BMV, and I can tell that it's a BMV book just by the price paid. Silly, low price. So, this being, I would give it maybe a VF minus 5.5. Okay, so I actually overpaid for this a little bit. I paid $45 for it. It's worth about $39.90.
You mean a
It's June 1969. Nick Cardy cover. I had to have it. It's fun. Anything
Yeah,
with a
it's all-
motorcycle on it, I love. Gotta have it.
Well, it's almost a 50-year-old book, and you know, yeah, you paid a little bit, maybe a little bit. I don't think you got ripped off or anything. I mean, there's some yellowing along the edges. We've all noticed that.
Yeah.
There's very little spine break. Staples are good. Spectacular cover. I love the way. I mean, the motorcycle coming out of the cover. I mean, it is really a beautiful looking book. What do you think, Jose?
Well, I think it's a nice book. But you said you said VF. It's a fine minus. 5.5 would be a fine minus, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
so
sorry.
So it's a
I
mid-grader.
did about a 5.5. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a fine minus. This book reminds me, actually, I've got a few Teen Titans that are really, really high grade, including one of my favorite Neil Adams covers that I got. So actually, this book has reminded me. I will be bringing those, and we'll feature them in a future episode. But
Very cool.
Teen Titans, the first series, there is some sweet keys in that run. And yeah, I'm gonna. This reminds me, I'm gonna be bringing some of those in and share with all our audience there.
I'd
But
love to see him.
yeah, very good snag though, Mike. Very nice, Nick Cardy.
Beautiful book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in. Okay, I don't know how many of you guys will remember this, but I probably, in an episode about 6 to 8 months ago, I'd indicated that I had given Jose a Guardians of the Galaxy comic. You know, the comics you buy in the comic store would have a blank cover, and you get artists at the comic book shows to draw you a cover, so you get a custom cover and stuff like that. Well, I gave one to Jose because I wanted Jose to draw me Gamora. Is that right? Gamora
Yes,
on the
he
front?
did, yeah.
And it's been like a year now, and I'm still waiting for the cover. So, you know, God knows when I'm gonna get it. So I thought today we'd do something special. I thought I'd show you a piece of original Jose artwork. Now, again, it's something you don't mention very often, but Jose is not only an astute comic collector and an aficionado when it comes to knowledge about the comic book industry, he's also one of the best artists I know. And this is some original artwork from Jose. And I'm sorry, Jose, what year did you do this?
Oh, there you go. This is a vintage piece of art, man. This is going back to high school. This is probably 30 years old, man. This is
Like
this
80s,
is this is
man.
my take on Frank Frazetta, John Carter, Warlord of Mars. Yeah, there and it's basically I saw the cover. It's one of those nice painterly style covers in one of those pulp magazines, and it inspired me, and I had to draw it. And so it's a very cool thing. I'm surprised you pulled this out. Wow. I mean, I'd forgotten about this in a way, and it's nice seeing it again 30 plus years later.
It is a spectacular piece, and I keep threatening to send Jose's portfolio to DC Comics if I can ever find his bloody portfolio, because again, just my opinion, but I believe Jose is probably still better than half the artists that are working there. And that's not to say the artists there aren't good, and Jose is certainly rusty. You're certainly rustier
Oh,
than
I'm rusty, man. There's creaking in on my aches and pains and my joints, but yeah.
And but you know, artwork is like riding a bike or swimming. You know, you don't forget it. You get a little bit rusty. You have some of Jose's original
I've
art.
got some stuff he did in the 90s when we were in college. I used to drive him to school, and he did some beautiful Pink Floyd riff stuff with little notes and written stuff on it, and they're absolutely beautiful.
Anyways, bottom line is, me and Mike, we haven't given up on Jose. We are going to get him drawing for Marvel eventually. He just needs a good, swift boot in the ass.
Holmes, man, there's people doing indie books that are a mile below.
Cool. Thanks for drawing that, Jose. We love you, buddy. We love you.
No problem.
Yes,
Okay, for our next segment, our Jedi comic book collector has popped up with some Rogue One Star Wars books. Nice covers, Paul.
Thanks, Jose. And of course, it's no secret that I'm a Star Wars fan. I think I showed you Rogue One, issue number 1 or 2 episodes ago. So I thought I'd show you these comics as well. This is issue number 2 and issue number 3. And as a rule, I'm not going to collect all the Star Wars comics coming out because they got so many subdivisions, so many different titles. It's gotten ridiculous. As I think we're all aware,
Yes.
Darth Vader just started over.
Rebooted again.
I've rebooted again. I'm not collecting it. It goes against my principle. all can continue. Like you said, you're going to continue collecting Star Wars until
Star
such a
Wars until they reboot, then I'm done.
once they reboot it, we're stopping and we're not starting again. So Marvel, here's your warning: do not stop and start Star Wars again. It's ridiculous.
That's directed more to the House of the Mouse. So they're owned by Disney now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
they're trying to get as much money from your wallet as they can.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
at some point, you have to say enough's enough.
Yeah, but anyways, the reason for me showing these, other than the fact that I think they're really great books, is there's some news. Actually, by the time we actually air this episode, the news is probably going to be about 2 weeks old. But Ron Howard has just replaced Chris Miller and Phil Lord as the director on the new Han Solo film.
I heard that. I mean, does not bode well. I mean, they were done about 2/3 of the way through principal shooting on that.
It is not a good sign, that's for sure. And there hasn't been a whole lot out of Disney other than the fact that they were ousted for creative differences. Apparently,
Lawrence Kasdan, the writer who wrote The Empire Strikes Back, had big problems with the directors. Did not feel that the direction they were going with the movie reflected his story.
Yeah.
So he's a big name, Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah.
So he won. He
Yeah.
got the director's canned from the movie.
exactly, and that is the official word from Kathleen Kennedy, who's now the head of Lucasfilm. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's true. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be true. What I find funny is that the new Han Solo film actually doesn't have a name yet. They even haven't given the name to the film yet. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here, okay, guys? I'm going out on a limb. Why not call the new Han Solo film Han Solo?
Well, the obvious thing does work.
I like it.
You can call me crazy here, but if you're gonna do a film about Han Solo, I think maybe calling the film Han Solo might be a good idea.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
But again, that's just me.
Just another quick. If we're Silver Age dudes and other collectibles, does that rank as a other collectible?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But here's my advice to you: whenever Star Wars comics come out and they're on the new film, I recommend you collect them, because every time you buy one, chances are you're going to get a first appearance. You know, it might be a minor character. It may be, you know, it never increases in value. But think of it this way. Remember when Star Wars came out, The Empire Strikes Back, first appearance of Boba Fett?
First appearance of Afra popped.
Yeah, I mean, the first appearance of Boba Fett has gone gangbusters. The first appearance of the Emperor. Anytime you get the first appearance of a Star Wars character, it will generally increase in value. So even if you're not a fan of Star Wars, it's worth picking up these books, at least the books that are related specifically to the new films. And that's all I got to say on that.
And they're always a great read.
Yeah, nice cover art on those books, man. Very nice.
Art inside's great too.
And next up, we got High Grade Jose, who's got a really nice copy of Adventure Comics number 365. And if I'm not mistaken, it's another key, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Why
yeah.
does that not surprise me?
Yeah, it should be standard par for the course these days. February 68, for of course first appearance of Shadowlass.
Nice.
Yeah, ranked 18th on the Comic Buyer's Guide 100 sexiest women in comics. Shadowlass is a blue-skinned vixen from the planet Talok 8. In Adventure Comics 354, when Superman meets the adult Legion, she does not have blue skin on the cover of that comic. Her real name is Tasmia Malor, and she has the power to project darkness. She and her cousin Grev received their powers from their ancestors, whose spirits reside in a cave on their homeworld, where Taloxians practice ancestor worship. As her ancestor before her for the past 1,000 years, Tasmia is the hereditary champion of Talok 8. Her cousin is Grev Malor, who also wields the shadow power thanks to his bloodline, and he appeared in Adventure Comics issue 344. Grev is known as Shadow Kid, and would join the Legion Academy, but could not become a member when Shadowlass was active, since there was the Legion rule of no duplicate powers within the ranks. Shadowlass joined the Legion after her homeworld was invaded by the Fatal Five. She helped the Legion defeat them. After joining, she became romantically involved with Largand, or Mon-El, and eventually married him after he was mortally wounded fighting the Time Trapper as part of the conspiracy to avenge Superboy's death at the Trapper's hands. Their marriage was rocky for many years despite their strong feelings for each other, and Tasmia went into mourning when Gand died. The mourning was temporary as they returned to her, inhabited briefly by the Time Trapper's essence until a cataclysmic battle erased the Trapper from existence and completely rewrote reality. Legendary artist Neil Adams does this beautiful cover art for this issue.
Yeah.
Comic book round pricing 949 and 8.0 surprisingly low 90, 85, 50, and 76.50. This is a nice higher grade. I would say VF plus 8.5, maybe a VF near mint 9.0. There is a bonus that would be paid on that. I mean, I shelled out big bucks for this one, but it's a beautiful cover and really high grade. I cannot go wrong. I just had to have it.
I think that's more like a forward look. Like it's gonna grow into like
That price.
way beyond that, way beyond that.
It is a beautiful book, Jose. And again, just to reiterate, because sometimes Jose can be long-winded, this is a key.
First appearance of Shadowlass,
The
yeah.
first appearance of Shadowlass, and that's why everybody out there, you do want to own this book if you find it at a reasonable price. Grab it.
Grab it, yes.
Oh man, I'm gonna look for that for sure.
Fantastic book, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
Hoi hoi. Okay, we're ending with a bang, a big boom of a bang, because here we have the lowball Spider-Man book that we've ever featured. I thought I was happy with my 11. We have second appearance of Doc Ock, but of course, as anybody knows, this is Amazing Spider-Man number 4, first appearance of the Sandman, the villain who co-starred in the Spider-Man number 3 flick, of which the less said the better. This issue marks the first appearance of the Sandman, one of the Webhead's most recognized, early, and popular villains. I shouldn't have to say this. This issue is definitely one of the best comic books to invest in for any comic era. It's 100%. And for good reason also. All the first 10 Amazing Spider-Man books from the first series are extremely sought after. The higher the grade, the harder to snag for these Silver Age key issues. Great snag, Mike. Give us some breakdown on how you picked up this huge book.
Well, obviously, if you want the breakdown, I won the lottery with buying the Aquaman.
The number 11 issue,
11,
first
and then-
Mira, yeah.
Traded that in. Now the guy, I gave it to Retro Rare.
Sandy, yeah, you've on consignment.
And I knew it. We had a conversation about it. He picked up the phone and called someone. He'd been in the business for 30 years. He knew exactly who to call, had someone come in. But he paid Visa. So he didn't have $350 on him in cash to hand to me. So I said, well, what do you think about giving me $100 for this? And I just said, and then it was going to start selling me on this. And I said, just everyone stop talking.
Yeah, yeah,
Done. Like you can't, this is a huge book.
for sure.
And I'm a Spider-Man fan, and this is a keeper. Like I was just, my best friend right here across me was crying with me in the parking lot. This is massive.
Yeah.
It's the 5th appearance of Spider-Man.
Yeah, man.
This is the first appearance of Betty Brant, who is still used in the modern day.
An early love interest for Spider-Man, yeah.
Actually, she blames him. She blames Spider-Man for killing her brother, but
Yeah.
likes Peter Parker. So, because she works for she works for Jonah Jameson,
Yeah.
played by Elizabeth Banks in all 3 movies, right? And then we get into the Sandman,
Yeah.
who is A.K. William Baker, A.K. Flint. And I've shown you other books. There's a huge character who's crossed over into. He's been a foe of the Hulk. He's part of the Sinister Six. He's the Frightful Four, the Enforcers, the Wild Pack, a couple others as well. The guy's massive. You know.
Well, definitely one of the most exciting books we've ever shown on our show, and certainly the oldest, and probably the oldest Amazing Spider-Man we'll ever show on the show.
Yeah, could we consider about it? How much lower can you go? Number 3 is the first appearance of Doc Ock. Number 2 is recently blown up because it's the first appearance of the Vulture with Michael Keaton playing him in the latest Spider-Man Homecoming movie.
man.
And, well, Spider-Man number 1 is Spider-Man number 1. So this is about as low as we're going to go. I don't think we'll ever see any of those books, so
It is
way to
nice.
go, Mike, for going low.
It is a really spectacular book.
I'm just utterly shell-shocked because I never thought, I mean, in trying to get the run as close as you can. I thought I'd hit a wall in the teens,
Yeah, yeah.
and I've landed this. It's like winning the lottery.
Most of us would hit a wall because
Yeah.
you're talking big bucks, man.
First appearance of Sandman.
And I
Amazing
will say,
Spider-Man
man,
number
we've looked
4.
it over pretty closely, man. It's got really good eye appeal for a lower grade, and you were trying to decide, well, what kind of grade this is.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. I think it's something just under a VG. I think if you said a VG minus 3.5, you would not be wrong.
Couldn't be wrong. Yeah.
But having said that, that is a nice 3.5 cover. Just like my Amazing Spider-Man number 11, that's a CGC 4. Sometimes, forget the grade. What kind of eye appeal does the book have?
the book has-
And if that is a 3.5 VG minus, man, that's a nice VG minus, man. It's
Yeah.
got lots of eye appeal. There is no major flaws to take away from the eye appeal of the book. In other words, there is no large chunks missing of it. There's no large tears. There's the usual kind of wear along the spine and
corners.
things of that nature, but it's nothing that takes away from the appeal of the book. So
Yeah, I was
wow.
looking at 3.5 or 3s and 4s all day long, and I'm seeing stuff that makes this look like a 3.5 for sure, because I've seen ones where there's huge blowout ticks there. I'm seeing stuff that had like a thumbnail pieces missing from bottom, something. It's just like a Marvel chipping that's gone a little wild. And the pages, we opened it up at the store,
It's fine.
white to off-white. It's beautiful. And the 3.0 that's on the market right now on eBay, the centerfold is detached.
Yeah.
And it's CGC'd at a 3.0, so I gotta say
Yeah.
3.5.
So basically, you're into this book for what, $100?
180 in total. When you
180
think about
total?
what I paid for the
The mirror, the first mirror.
Myrna,
first
yeah.
Myrna, and then traded it off. Okay, that did nothing. But then I paid $100 for this, so
Yeah.
$180 for something this
At
massive.
that
my
at
most
that price,
expensive
Mike, I
book.
would consider getting this thing CGC'd. Even though I know you're like reading and stuff like that for a book like this, you want to also preserve it. Like
This is a very high-end book, a
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah.
high. And one of
I'm
the
gonna read it once and then maybe send it away.
one of the most exciting books we've ever shown on the show. And Mike,
And not to mention, that's a 5th appearance, Amazing Spider-Man. Number 1, first appearance in an Amazing Fantasy number 15. This is
Let me put it this way. At a year ago Comic Con, I saw a 9.6 CGC. Okay, well,
Don't forget, our next show here is Sunday, August the 13th. You want to check out TorontoComicBookShow.com for more info.
gosh, 100. Some Hulks, yes. Oh, Tarot.
yeah,
Sexy skeletons, yeah. Tarzan books.
this is Comic Book Addiction.
Comic Book Addiction, yes, we purchased from them before. Oh, that's a nice copy. I have one of this. I mean, I paid way more than that. Mike's also got that
Mike's
book.
got that book. He featured
Yeah.
in one of our episodes.
Yes, the number 3 issue. Yeah, it's a good book. Oh yeah, Teen Titans. Good stuff.